Hemostat. Medicine bomb. Hemostat. Okay, there's the tumor right next to the pancreas. Clamp. Okay, I want a frozen section diagnosis stat. I don't want to keep the patient under any longer than absolutely necessary.
He said stat.
This is from Dr. Johnson. He needs his stat.
Okay, orient this on end and bring me a polychrome and an H&A. Or5, Dr. Johnson.
Yes, Dr. Smith.
Dr. Johnson, this tissue is definitely benign.
Great. Let's close. Good job, everybody.
I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field, but I wasn't sure exactly what. I didn't want to go into nursing, and I didn't really want to go into medical technology. And I had a great stroke of fortune in which I was introduced to a histologist, and they said they would give me on-the-job training. So from there, I went in. I worked for them for a year. They did give me on-the-job training, very extensive on-the-job training. They also paid for me to go into school, so I got my college degree there. But I just fell in love with the job. It had a lot of things that I wanted in it. You can develop skills on the job. There's a lot of science to it, but there's also a lot of art. It just intrigued me, and I've never lost my interest. There's always something new on the horizon, so it keeps me very interested in this field.
The histology professional, scientist, technician, artist, an important member of the healthcare team. As a histology professional, you will play an important role in diagnosing or confirming a disease. The histology professional is responsible for preparing tissue and mounting it on a slide. This slide is then evaluated under a microscope by a pathologist. Many different techniques are used to bring out the intricate details of a tissue sample. These techniques allow a pathologist to identify the structure of the tissue, as well as its chemical and biological makeup. Without the skill, expertise, and technology involved in histotechnology, microscopic examination of tissue would be impossible. Histology, the study of tissue, dates back to 1664, when Robert Hooke used a penknife to make thin sections of cork and examine them under a microscope. It wasn't until the mid-1800s, however, that microscopic examination of tissue became a fundamental discipline in medicine. As recently as 1930, the preparation of tissue slides normally took several days. Recent advances, such as microwave fixation and automated processing, have reduced this time to a matter of hours. Histotechnology is growing. It offers all the rewards, challenges, and opportunities found in a dynamic, high-tech profession.
Histotechnology is a very fascinating, rewarding position. I find it challenging to work with tissue sections during processing, sectioning, and staining, also working with pathologists for diagnostic reasons. When you do finish with your slide and you know you've done a very good job of that slide, you can work with pathologists to find out just what was wrong with that tissue, if anything is wrong at all. It is very challenging for some of the tissues. They are tough tissues, and to know that you can section that tissue and make a very picturesque microscopic slide, I find very exciting and rewarding.
In addition to patient health care, histotechnology offers career opportunities in such scientific fields as veterinary medicine, marine biology, botany, pharmaceutical testing, forensic medicine, and many phases of industrial and university research. For the next few minutes, let's take a tour of a modern clinical laboratory and enter the exciting world of histotechnology. If the patient is still in surgery and the surgeon needs an immediate diagnosis, the pathologist selects a sample of the specimen to use for diagnosis. The histology professional freezes the sample in an instrument called a cryostat. A thin section is then cut from the frozen sample and placed on a glass microscope slide. This slide is then stained to show details of the tissue sample and given to the pathologist for microscopic examination. Within minutes, the surgeon has an interpretation from the pathologist, which helps him determine the course the surgery will take. While freezing the specimen allows for quick diagnosis, high-quality microscopic slides for final diagnosis are obtained by processing the tissue. The pathologist, assisted by the histology professional, chooses an appropriate part of the tissue as a specimen, removes it, and places it into a container called a cassette, labeled with an ID number. Tissue cassettes from a number of specimens are placed in an automated instrument called a tissue processor. The histology professional programs the tissue processor to work overnight. The next morning, the tissue samples are ready for embedding in paraffin. The paraffin block is then removed and the tissue sample is ready for sectioning. The block of paraffin is placed in a holder of an instrument called a microtome, and ribbons about the thickness of a piece of tissue paper are cut from the block. The histology professional selects the best section and places it on a glass slide for staining. Before staining, the components of the tissue are indistinguishable. After staining, the nuclei and cytoplasm of the cells are now differentiated from each other. The nuclei are blue, and the cytoplasmic components are varying shades of pink or red. The pathologist might also request other procedures from the histology laboratory. Special diagnostic procedures are performed on sections taken from the same paraffin-processed block of tissue. These special procedures can reveal specific bacterial and fungal types. A histology professional might also work in an electron microscopy laboratory. In this lab, tissue is much smaller than ordinarily encountered. In fact, the sectioning is performed with the use of a microscope. Specialized training is necessary to produce sections thin enough for an electron beam transmission. Histotechnology is one of the most versatile of laboratory sciences. It requires patience, mechanical ability, knowledge of biology, physics, anatomy, and chemistry, and the ability to work quickly but carefully.
I feel like the role of the histologist is very important in the healthcare field. We have the ability to follow up on cases. Our institution is one of such that it's small enough, and we have such a good rapport with other departments within the laboratory that we can correlate our results and find out how the patient's doing.
Obviously, aptitude and interest in the physical sciences are prime requisites for a career in histotechnology. But the desire to be a part of a team that contributes to the quality of life enjoyed by millions of people is also important. This, combined with the spirit of scientific investigation, is what makes a career in histotechnology fascinating, challenging, and rewarding.
I went into the field of histotechnology because I saw it as an exciting and unusual way to be able to put my artistic talent to work. You need to process the slides and do it very neatly, and you also need to stain the slides so that they're very clear and pretty for the pathologist to look at.
Preparation for a career in histotechnology involves classroom work as well as on-the-job training. Once formal training is completed, histology professionals have many opportunities for continuing education via state professional societies and the National Society for Histotechnology. In addition, histology professionals have many opportunities for career advancement. Various professional levels are attainable from histotechnician to histotechnologist. Supervisory and managerial positions are available in clinical labs as well as corporate environments. There are many ways to enter the histology profession. If you would like to become a recognized and valued member of the healthcare and scientific communities, write for this free booklet, The Art and Science of Histotechnology, a Career to Consider. It's available from the National Society for Histotechnology, 5900 Princess Garden Parkway, Suite 805, Lanham, Maryland, 20706.
If you're the type of individual that gets a lot of personal satisfaction from knowing that you're doing an important and worthwhile job, then histotechnology has something for you. It's an art and a science, and it's exciting. There's always a new challenge, and there's so many career paths you can take from here, whether it be in research, in industry, in teaching. It's exciting and challenging, and I don't think if you get involved in it, you'll ever be disappointed. You can go many places from here.